Alright, you guys want to know how simple it can be to parkerize small parts? Say you want to do maybe a handgun frame or just parts off of a rifle. You could use the microwave method with a little Pyrex bowl like I got here, or you can use a little camp grill. Runs off propane. Just make sure whatever your parts are going to go in, they're big enough to actually fit and be fully submerged. Make sure to account for or calculate for displacement. You don't want to fill it up all the way to the top and then put your parts in there and then your solution goes everywhere. But it's just a little Pyrex bowl with got the handles on the side. That way you can put it in the microwave. I've done it that way before. This is my first attempt to do it this way. We're going to see how well it works. And I figured this would be a quick, easy way instead of setting the entire setup. I don't know if you've seen my earlier videos about parkerizing, but I have a huge tank set up and a water bath and all that stuff, which reminds me, I probably need to get something to neutralize here once we get up to temperature, because we're going to get this close to 200 degrees. And we'll see how well this works. Alright, we've about got it to temperature. What you don't want it to boil, because then it just kind of evaporates the water out of it, because you have to mix water in with this. And you want to use like distilled water or decanted rainwater, filtered rainwater. What I would normally do is put it in a washed out hot sauce jar. This has just got water in it right now, but normally you could put the part solution in here that you have mixed up, put it in the microwave, zap it a few times, make sure it doesn't boil, and you can drop your parts, small parts in there, and it'll do the same thing. I figured we'd try this little camp burner here. I also have black dip from Lowers here. Soak the parts in here for about 12 to 15 seconds, and then we'll stick it in the solution. Let it do its thing. It's going to bubble like Alka-Seltzer. When it's done, we'll put it over here, which has just got water in it. It's just a water bath to dilute this, the acid. Now this isn't acid like it's going to burn your finger. It's not going to take the skin off or anything. But you don't want to get it all over your hands for a long period of time. So what we're going to do is take us a trunnion here, dip it in the black dip. Everything's good, just take her off. Put it in the solution. You can see that on camera or not, now it's all bubbling up. We'll take this front sight block, gas block combo here. When they get done bubbling or fizzing, that's when they're pretty much ready. Sometimes it can take 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes it can go all the way up to 15 to 20 minutes. Just depends. But while it's bubbling like that or fizzing, that's etching the metal. Once it gets done doing that, pull your part out, dip it in the water, and then you can hose it down with some, I use LPS. You can use WD-40. Just something to keep it from flash rusting on you. If you parkerize this stuff and then just let it sit, eventually it will rust. Really bad too. Parkerizing is intended for you to put something on it, some kind of grease, some kind of oil or something like that, because it's very porous and it helps it absorb or soak into the metal, and that's what protects it. Bluing looks a lot more beautiful, it's a lot prettier, but I do military style firearms to begin with, so they basically look better to me anyway, just parkerized. And this is all black park, but you can do it in a zinc phosphate, where this is manganese phosphate. The manganese does the black, and the zinc makes it look kind of like a dull silver metallic looking color. Just depends on what look you're going for. Very mindful of where your flames are. Don't start go crazy with it and cause a fire. Anytime you touch this stuff with your gloves, change your glove out. Don't start sticking your fingers in your solution. It will jack that stuff up in a hurry. Don't use your tongs. If you're using tongs, try to use stuff that's stainless steel. Don't use any aluminum when it comes to Parkerized solution. It will completely just screw the solution up and you're done. You got to start over. Use stainless steel. If you can't use stainless steel, remember that it will Parkerize whatever you're using. Any kind of metal. If you let parts sit on the bottom, it can leave a different shade where it's actually making contact with the bottom of the bowl. If you'll flip them around and keep going, you'll notice little bitty sections, like I've got two on here, where it was making full contact with the glass bottom and it wasn't etching quite as efficient as the rest of it. So flip it over and watch those little spots. Normally you put them on wires and suspend them off the bottom. That works the best. This is just down and dirty. I just figured I would do this before I started farting around with stuff. I had parts laying around I wasn't really doing a whole lot with, and I thought, well, I could show you guys this. I've seen other guys use something similar to this, so I figured I'd try it and make my own video. That's it. Gets everything nice and black, just like you want. Just use an old sandblast media bucket there for my water bath. That's it. Seems to work pretty good. Of course, I kind of cheat and use the black dip, but it worked quite nicely. I store all my stuff in the, here's a black dip goes in that little jug there, and then of course I got my Parkerizing stuff here. Make sure you label it so nobody uses it for anything other than what it's intended for. But yeah, this works quite nicely. Maybe you guys, of course it's open flame, be careful. Duh, you know that. But works great. If you guys got small parts that you'd like to Parkerize, if you don't want to do the microwave method or like this or whatever, hey, it works.